The Merry Wives of Windsor by William Shakespeare is a 5-act play that revolves around Falstaff, an outsider to the town of Windsor. As Act 1 unfolds, Parson Hugh Evans is on the lookout for Falstaff, who stands accused of robbing Justice Robert Shallow and his nephew, Abraham Slender, the previous night. Falstaff openly admits to the theft and proceeds to dine with Mr. and Mistress Page. Shallow and Evans persuade Slender to court and Page, the wealthy daughter of Mr. and Mistress Page. Evans sends his servant to Mistress quickly to enlist her help in this matchmaking scheme, even though she is also working for Dr. Caius and a gentleman named Fenton. Meanwhile, Falstaff has his own plans to seduce Mistress Page and Mistress Ford for financial gain, forcing him to send his servant, Bardolph, to work at the Garter Inn until his financial situation improves. In Act 2, both Mistress Page and Mistress Ford receive love letters from Falstaff and decide to feign interest in him while keeping their husbands in the dark. However, their husbands learn of the plot from Falstaff's disloyal servants. To investigate Mistress Ford's involvement with Falstaff, Mr. Ford disguises himself as Mr. Brooke. Dr. Caius challenges Evans to a duel over and Page, with Page, Shallow, and Slender preparing to witness the confrontation. The duel never takes place as the innkeeper thwarts the plan with misdirection. Act 3 begins with Evans and Caius finally finding each other. The host reveals his role in keeping them apart, leading them to make amends and turn their anger toward the host. Page favors Slender as his son-in-law, and Ford persuades everyone to accompany him to his home in an attempt to catch Falstaff and Mistress Ford. To protect Falstaff, Mistress Page and Mistress Ford hide him in a laundry basket, which they later toss into the Thames River. In the meantime, Fenton and Page fall in love, despite her parents' objections due to Fenton's modest wealth. Falstaff complains about his treatment at the Garter Inn, and Mr. Ford, still posing as Brooke, learns of Mistress Ford and Mistress Page's deception, reigniting his jealousy. Act 4 sees Mistress Page and her son William heading to school, with William encountering Parson Evans, who sends him home. Meanwhile, Mistress Page and Mistress Ford continue their games with Falstaff, this time disguising him as an elderly fortune-teller. However, Ford remains suspicious of Falstaff, even in this guise, and chases him away. The two women eventually confess their plots with Falstaff to their husbands, leading the couples to work together to outwit him. They lure Falstaff to meet them under an old oak tree, instructing him to come dressed as Herne the Hunter. Their children, acting as fairies, ambush him and subject him to various pranks. Slender takes the white-clad fairy away, and Caius seizes the green-clad fairy. Fenton and Page elope in secret. In the 5th act, Falstaff arrives at the oak tree to meet Mistress Ford, but confusion arises about the color of Anne's attire. Page suggests Slender should elope with Anne dressed in white, while Mistress Page advises Caius to marry Anne dressed in green. When they all gather at the oak tree, Mistress Page and Mistress Ford flirt with Falstaff before fleeing. The children, disguised as fairies, torment Falstaff with pranks. Slender takes the white-clad fairy with him, and Caius seizes the green-clad fairy. Fenton and Page leave together. At the end of the play, Falstaff realizes the trick played on him and accepts it. Caius and Evans return, having discovered that the fairies were actually boys, not Anne. The Pages forgive Fenton for marrying Anne and invite everyone, including Falstaff, to dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.